Hey everyone, it is Jane from the Let's Get Loud podcast. Hello. I'm wired with energy,
All the energy.
all the energy. Listen, we're recording way ahead because Alicia or I is leaving on vacation and we wanted to make sure that we could be in your ear every Monday while we're away. But so we're recording early and today is Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day, Alicia.
Happy Valentine's Day. How did your Valentine's Day go today?
Well, so far so good because I did a love yourself theme ride. And so it was about women empowerment and everyone that arrived, I would give them a glow stick and say, um, you have to love yourself first before you can be loved. J'ai dit en français, là, faut que tu t'aimes en premier avant que tu peux avoir quelqu'un qui t'aime de service. And then I said, but it is fun to be, because I feel like a lot of the people that came this morning are in a couple. And I'm like, but
Okay.
you have to love yourself first. And then I said, but it is fun to have someone else to pay the bills with. And they're like, yes. And they
I
laugh.
did, I was having that conversation with the girls. I don't know why, about like a couple
Okay.
and being single. And we got into it, got deep fast. We were
Oh,
talking about making a baby, man, man, girl, girl, how that would work, being single. And we just like got into the whole like, uh, having a partner.
right.
And that it's, yes, you don't need someone, but it's great to have a partner.
Yes, I think it's like a fun way to approach life if it is the right partner. You know what I mean? Like I think that it's just to work to work it through. Like I mean, Kat Nat said it once, and I always remember that like years ago I was listening to their podcast, and she said I just find that like people that make marriages work, it's quite a remarkable journey to be like, you start off that young and like your whole life you're kind of like creating life together. And I was like, c'est vrai que c'est remarquable, and she's like, we have to think about like how, first of all, it wasn't, men aren't made to like only mate with one person. And like, you know what I mean? And like, so you're really sharing everything about your life with this one human. And I think now, like, I love to talk this deep, of course. But I'm like, I think it's important we should have those conversations with our daughters and our sons because it's like, you don't have to stay married your whole life. Like I understand that, and you're not better or worse if you do, if you don't. I think what matters is that you create a life that you really enjoy, and that it's, it really builds values, happiness, and it allows you to thrive in life. And if you can do that with someone else, and it happens to be the same one your whole life, good for you. But I think realizing that having a partner is more than just a really nice wedding day. You know what I mean? Like we're gonna get married, just like the whole like love story that has been sold to us. Like it's way beyond that. It's deeper than that. It's like you're finding someone that you're saying, let's try to create a life forever. You know what I mean? Like it's intense.
It's intense, love.
Yeah.
So all this to say,
Wow.
you did a themed ride. Was
I
it good? You
did.
played love songs?
Okay, so it wasn't love songs, it was like women, like love yourself songs, like Confident, I Love Me, Me Too from Megan Trainor, This Girl's on Fire, so Fire, Alicia Keys, Who Run the World. So just very much like not necessarily I need a man in my life to be happy. There are songs about like just you're good enough, you are enough just as you are, you know what I mean? So I really enjoyed it. And I gave them like little messages, love yourself messages, like I am enough. I love my body. I love my life.
Like
Uh,
that little girl in the mirror.
yes, exactly. So they
Very,
really
very
enjoy it.
good.
And a little chocolate.
That's so
Yeah,
cute.
it was really cute. It was a full class and people really enjoyed it. So I was like, don't expect this for Easter. I don't know what we would do, but no.
My kids actually did not expect anything this morning. Like
No. You
they
always do
came,
something fun though.
well, I did like a little tiny thing. I did like the girls, it's easier for the girls really.
That we.
Um,
Yeah.
but the girls, I got them a pink silk pillowcase
Oh, that's really
and
cute.
a
It's
pink
a great idea.
little, those things that go under here, but pink.
Oh, that's really cute, Leash.
And actually the things that, there's like, Stanley's, they have the straw and then they have fancy like straw covers now.
Oh, wow.
Anyways, they don't have Stanley's, they have fake ones, but whatever.
Yeah.
And ones.
Ah.
So cute.
I reminded Dia this morning. Well, I was all decorated, so I gave her some of the decorations, which she did not wear. I did her hair. She really wanted these like heart things that I did in her hair, and I reminded her that her like Valentine's Day gift of us hanging out is we're gonna go watch Little Mermaid at the Capitol
Oh,
with her
that's
little
fun.
girlfriends and the moms. You know what I mean? So we're going to Gusto, and I said like
Oh,
that's like your Valentine's Day like date with Mila. And she's like, yeah, all good. And Jeff did some pancakes this morning, heart shaped pink. Lo. And Noah, I just said, I really love you, and he goes, je t'aime, mama. I'm like, just make sure you know that I really love you. He's like, yep, I do know. I'm like, do you feel loved every day? He said, yes. I'm like, perfect. So he didn't understand what was Valentine because I said, I like sent him with the stuff for the teacher. And he's like, why am I giving her chocolate? I don't like chocolate. That's what he said. I was like, it's not for you, it's for her. And it's because it's Valentin. So you have to give this to Madame. Oh my
did
God.
him and his little friend, did he do Valentine's? Like, was that a thing?
He did do Valentine's, didn't understand what was happening. He's like just writing and just like hanging out with Jeff. And Jeff was like, what's your next friend's name? And he was like,
Yeah,
yeah. So whatever. He doesn't really understand why we're doing it, but it was like a fun little activity. They had like a Valentine's Day breakfast at school.
cute.
Yeah, in his class.
Do you know that I like have made it to the next level of adulthood because one of my three children doesn't do Valentine's anymore?
They'll do Valentine's when they have like a girlfriend or a boyfriend.
Yeah. One of his friends has a girlfriend and he
Okay.
like went and got her like a little basket and there's like
Oh
a
my
stuffing
God.
in it. Mhm. It's pretty cute.
It's pretty cute. He's
Mhm.
close though. Grade 7, 8, 9 though. He's gonna get one.
He's definitely starting to. I was watching him when I was showing the kids the kiss and moment between Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce after the
Right.
game.
Yes.
So like I'm showing the kids, but I'm watching their reaction and his little face was like, I'm into it.
Yeah. He wasn't
Like
like,
he was like, hey, I see that. Yeah, not like ew or yuck or not interested. It was like that and like a cute smile. He's into it.
he's into it. Oh,
Little buddy. Anyways, yeah. So about Neil got me roses actually.
oh, that's really nice, Neil. Good. Go, Neil.
He goes, he said something like, I overdid it, or I went above and beyond. And I was like, no,
He was
you
kidding.
acknowledge.
He was kidding.
Mm.
You think he was serious? I think he was making fun.
He was serious. He did get me a fun card that says, I think you're better than bacon.
And you are
That's serious.
better than bacon.
The full package.
Full package. Yeah, I got nothing, asked for nothing. I told him we went out on Saturday, and he's like, "So do you want flowers and chocolate?" I'm like, "Absolutely not."
Yeah.
I'm actually at that point in our relationship where we
Oh,
actually go out all the time. Like I'm like, and I love though that when people don't, that they do use Valentine's Day. You get what I mean? Like use it. If you don't see your husband a lot, or if you don't spend time alone a lot, please do that. Okay. But yeah,
did you guys go to Sophia?
we did.
You had the salad.
I did have the salad. We for February, I like pre-booked all of our date nights and just made reservations. And so it's like a surprise. Every Saturday, I'm like, "Ooh, I guess today we're going here."
That's fun.
Yeah, it is fun. And he just follows along. And then he said, you know how Sophia's my jam. Like Sophia is my favorite restaurant, hands down, the food, the menu, everything. And I was like, been trying to like convince Jeff that he loves it as much as I do. Trying to convince the world, actually. And
Okay.
he took the salmon and then we like finished the prosciutto ball appetizer and he's like, I really am starting to really dig this place. Like I really like it here. I was like, oh my God, can we come next week again? And I told him I'm going Thursday again with the girls. He's like, shocker.
Do you already know what you're
Okay.
getting?
No, I want to like live in the moment. Will I be hungry? What will I want something that's heavy or not? Like just we'll decide. No good or
Okay.
bad, just whatever
I
I
may
want.
or may not have looked at the menu yesterday.
My God, you know the menu by heart.
I know.
I
I
really
might
wanted to.
the new salad. It's kind of like a Caesar salad, but it's not. It's way fancier than that.
Didn't yeah, Chelsea, and we tasted it and it was delicious.
So good.
I want the Brussels sprouts because I didn't get them on Saturday.
Oh,
I was like, I
so good.
need the Brussels sprouts. Yeah. Yeah. I like that we're going quite early, so I'll be able to sleep.
Yeah.
Like when I go eat at 10 p.m., like we did New Year's Eve, oh, ben, ça fait mal, heartburn.
Also, then when you go at like 10 p.m., like you have to eat supper or else you're
Yes.
gonna
Yeah.
die. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it's like if we go at
You're right.
6:30,
It's like an extra meal. Yeah.
yeah.
I see. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Okay. Okay.
Let's get to I don't know, something.
What are we gonna talk about?
Well, I've had a few things that came up in my brain this week that I'm like, oh, that would be a good conversation to have with Leash, or just things that people say that I'm like, okay, how about Lee, like we unpack that? Like when people, you know, uh, okay, so we've been talking, guys, about um what your weight loss does, and it is to challenge your perspective on weight loss. And we've been, I don't know, kind of digging deep into like what are the main perspectives that people, because perspective is a belief. Okay. So perspective is so everything, everything I'm looking up is like perspective is reality. Like it is literally your truth. C'est la vérité pour toi. And it can be scary when someone has a different perspective and it is their truth. And like they believe their truth so much. And you're like, but that is not reality. It's not a fact. It's actually quite scary how powerful perspective can be. And you could use it to your advantage or it could tear you apart. Right. So if your perspective is like, I'm shitty, I'm bad, I'm gonna suck, whatever, that is a perspective that adds no value to thriving, to progressing, to change, right? And it's sad because you believe it, right? Whether it's a fact or not, whether it's reality or not, actually doesn't matter. Perspective trumps reality. Perspective becomes reality.
That's the thing.
That's scary.
Yes, but
Yeah.
it's important to acknowledge and recognize that
Yeah.
for yourself, but also like having conversations with other people.
Yes. And so, okay. So if you're like, okay, Jose, it's so important or so like, detrimental to thriving in life and getting the life you want, how do I change my perspective? Like some people are like, okay, where do I start? Well, first of all, you have to have a moment of looking into your life and saying, do I like the path that I'm on? Like, having that conversation is something that a lot of people do not go deep in. Like, who am I and what am I doing? And do I like my life or am I settling? Am I convincing myself? Um, okay, so step one. And then also knowing and believing that your life can literally be completely different just a perspective away. So sometimes it's not even to change anything. So example, my body, right? You would have thought my perspective was my lower body's disgusting, but just everything I had about my lower body, right? I didn't change my lower body, yet I now have a different perspective. So now I live a different life. Like it's like kind of crazy. So sometimes change is important. Like you have to have a different perspective to see opportunities, see a way to be and to behave and to what decisions you
That's
make.
that's such an amazing, incredible, concrete, I can see with my eyes
Yeah.
example.
Yeah.
That's
So sometimes it's not necessarily a massive change for you to change your life, literally. It's just a change in perspective. And sometimes by changing your perspective, then you go and change your behaviors because now your perspective is different.
yeah.
So people want to go and attack habits and attack decisions and attack behaviors. Yeah, Alicia's a behavioral attacker. She really is. I'm more of a like, let's look into the perspective so that we can work on the perspective so that when we do attack it, because it is important to change your habits and to change the way you behave and your decision making. But you have to realize that decision making doesn't just occur because you now have like new information or you now have a goal. It's not enough. And guys, there's proof all like for everything. Like tons of people are like, smoking is bad for you, yet you still smoke, or you should be going for your walk, yet you decide not to. So
Yeah.
clearly, just information that you should be doing it is not enough.
I think that's so important to us to like hammer home again is just to say, guys, information is not enough.
Yeah.
Like that's why our service exists. Let's all be honest. We all know what we need to do to
Yeah.
lose.
We
You
should be,
know,
we should be
you
doing.
know what you need to do to lose weight, but we're not all doing it even if we want weight loss because knowledge is not enough. And your goal of weight loss also not enough.
Absolutely. And we live in a world, especially right now, come information overload, tellement de confusing, conflicting information is being thrown at you. And so you're not taking in any information that changes your perspective. The only way you ever act on something is if you desire it. You want to do it. That doesn't require motivation. It doesn't require anything. You desire it. Shit that you desire, drinking my coffee wasn't hard. Like
Yeah.
deciding to drink coffee this morning wasn't a big decision to make. I want it. I desire it, right?
I really like that. I need to write that down somewhere
Yeah.
in here.
So desire is actually the emotion, I guess, that triggers actual behavior. Now, some people would say like, oh, I desire weight loss. I'm like, that's not a decision. That's not an action, right? That's a result. You want a result. However, you probably don't desire the things you think you have to do for weight loss, right? So because of your perspective of weight loss. So desire can be molded. Is that what I'm doing this with my hands? What does this mean? Like
You're molding.
yeah, okay. So desire can be molded by your perspective. So think of like if you shift your perspective of something, all of a sudden you want it, right? So I'm like, let's take exercise. Oh, too tired, too sick. It's going to be hard. And probably not going to like it. That's your perspective right now of this certain activity. Do you desire it now? Ben? So you're not going to behave in a way that you do not desire. If you are thinking, could be really fun. Oh, I'm going to love the music. I love this vibe. It's going to give me positivity, blah, blah, blah. Then you desire that. Like, so perspective for the exact same thing, unless you like switch your perspective, you're not going to desire it. And I remember like, I really dig deep back into that before my mindful body coaching on Monday. But this all started with the sex podcast with Kelly Capson. Like she was like, you're not going to want to have sex with your partner if your perspective is that it's going to suck and you're not going to have fun and that you have other shit to do. Right. So she was really trying to shift you're going to have to desire it and it's going to have to shift. You're going to have to shift your perspective. And she's like, also, she said, you never desire something that you don't like to do. So you can shift your perspective, but you also might have to make it more fun for you to want it. Right. So she's like, if if you're having sex and you're not having orgasms and it hurts and whatever, she's like, why would you want that? Like, and then you're feeling like shit because you don't want something that and she gave the example of ice cream. She said, like, I love ice cream. If it's melted, I don't want it but it's ice cream at the end of the day. I desire something. My perspective of ice cream is that it needs to be cold and it tastes like this, but if it doesn't, I don't want it, So, but it could be the exact same thing. So that was very interesting. And I really reconnected to that content on the internet and everyone seems to be on the same page about desire. Like desire drives an action. So people are like, how can you make me like it? I'm like, you're gonna have to shift your perspective of it.
There's a few like things to unpack with what Jose was saying, guys. So, you can't just desiring the result is not enough. You need to desire the action that will eventually get you that result.
Yeah.
So
because
really
they're a part of it. They're
exactly
yeah.
that every single day. So really start thinking about those every single day things. Like you said, drinking your coffee was not hard.
Yeah.
So is your exercise hard? Is what you're eating hard? Is the time you're going to bed or waking up hard? Like, what are these habits that are feeling hard to you? And honestly, some of them need to go away because some of them are things that you're just doing because you think you should, because they're the things you've done for weight loss in the past. So some things need to literally go away.
Yeah.
But then let's work with the things that you like. You're like, no, I want that. Like, I want that to be a part of who I am. I have reasons to do that other than weight loss alone. Right. And then let's look at our perspective around that.
And it's all perspective. Like if we just talking about weight loss, like when you're like, oh, I don't want to, just even when people say things like, well, I'm going to start after my vacation. That's perspective right now. Like, like start what? You know what I mean? Like you're going to have to eat. Well, I can't lose weight. Your perspective is definitely can't lose weight while I'm on vacation. And I don't want it to be hard. I don't want to be thinking about it. So you already have built up what it's like to lose weight. And you've already have a perspective that is not possible while you're on vacation. So like, that's very interesting to me because now I have a different perspective of what it's like to maintain a healthy lifestyle or my lifestyle that I like. So, and it includes vacations, but guys, I had that perspective for a very long time as well. So that's really what we do. We challenge people's perspective in regards to weight loss, not just weight loss, wellness, like maintaining their weight and being happy, like just the perspective of it as well. Because happiness is just a perspective away, though. Like, I suck, my life sucks versus I have enough and I'm very grateful. Like, it's literally, c'est juste so. Like, it's hard, but it literally is just that. So, I don't know.
People look at other people's lives and they think, oh, easy for her to be happy, you know, but her perspective is her perspective. And
Yeah.
for people to be happy, it's not the size of their body or the things that they have, it is their perspective about those things. Like
Yeah.
that is, if you guys are waiting for external things for happiness, it's not coming.
Nope, 1,000,000%. And, you know, so if we take my body and just that journey of like going from, I hate my body, it sucks, my lower body, wish it would go away, might get lipo, just all of that. In order for me to go and make a decision to go for lipo, I needed to have a perspective that my lower body wasn't good enough, that I couldn't live in this way. And that's totally fine. I'm not saying there's a good decision or a bad decision. I'm just saying literally the difference was just perspective, not lipo. It was perspective, but I wanted to have a different perspective. I wanted to go through that journey. So there's also here a desire to figure this out without that. It's like I could have lost weight all those years counting calories and following Simply for Life, just like that's what was, you know, presented to me when I was 14, 15, 16. And I was like, no, I don't have a different perspective of weight loss. I have a different perspective over here. And so you have to, and literally the only way you change your perspective is when you have a thought. So when you have a thought that doesn't serve your new perspective, you have to like, you take it in, you recognize it, and then you say, oh, now we replace it with this thought. So every time I would have a thought of like grabbing my legs or grabbing my loose skin, you know, in my thighs, I'd be like, all right, we don't do that anymore. And I guarantee, I'm telling you, after you do it over and over, though, the thought doesn't even come anymore.
I heard a good word on a podcast yesterday, and it was to reframe. And I was like,
Like
oh,
that. Reframe your
I like
thinking.
reframe your thinking.
I like
And
that.
I always say to people, like, take the thought and then create verbiage for yourself for next time. But I really like even the reframing
Right.
and even perspective. Like when people are like, you know, you get on the scale, you didn't lose weight. Oh, I suck. I'm not going to lose weight. And you can be like, actually, this is just an opportunity. This is showing me perseverance. This is, you know what I mean? Like any situation that happens to you, you can reframe that. That is perspective.
1,000,000%. And also the thoughts that you allow. I want you to know thoughts come in, but if you allow them to shift your decisions or your actions or whatever in a way that doesn't allow you to move forward and thrive, you're allowing that, you know? And, you know, sometimes that's where, you know, I've shared that I was so scared of not allowing I was like, Josie, you should have known that even if you weren't, you know, weight loss focused or like, so like focusing on discipline and motivation to keep your weight off, I should have known that I was not going to allow myself to live again with obesity. I should have, like, you're not going to allow that, Josie. Like, you should trust yourself, you know? And so it took a long time for me to shift that or to speak that way. Like, no, I don't allow myself to talk shit about myself. Just like I wouldn't allow someone to talk shit to Dia. You know what I mean? So why would I allow myself to just keep talking shit about my life, about who I am, about how useless I am? Like tons of people live their lives just bringing themselves down. And then that becomes your perspective and it becomes your reality, even if it's not how people see you, even if it's not really reality, though. You're not a piece of shit and you're not fat and you're not all these things. It is your reality because it's your perspective and you're living with that every day. No one else thinks that, but you think that. And that's all that really matters at the end of the day. That's why I gave them. And I said, all that matters is really what you think of you because it becomes your reality. Right?
So true.
Yeah.
And you need to start with you. Like that's where you need to start is with you.
Yeah. And like one of the most simple examples that I give that it's like, oh, c'est vrai. Let's say you put on a sweater and the whole time you're like, oh, in this sweater, I look so bad in this sweater and this sweater's an awful color on me. And you're just like having this moment with this sweater. This is your perspective of how you look in the sweater. Even if that's not what you look like at all. You have a million people that are like, oh my God, love your sweater. Oh my God, this sweater looks so good on you. And then you have the people that say, oh my God, really? Oh, I think I look so fat and I think it's not the right color. That's what you go to bed with, that your sweater is not good enough for you. You know, like even if a million people told you that's not our perspective, you only go to bed with what you think.
I'll
So,
never forget, guys, one time I had this moment where someone was like talking shit about me or like didn't like me.
okay.
And someone kind of like brought it to my attention. And I realized that it hadn't even occurred to me that everyone wouldn't just like me. And it was my perspective
Right.
that people like me, that I'm likable. That's my
Yeah.
perspective.
Yeah.
And I just would like to live my life like that because it's not productive for me to be thinking of, but does she like me? Did she, and same as your sweater and same as the size of your ass. Stop worrying about if other people like your things.
Yeah. Yes. And
You
it's
like
hard.
your things.
Yes, but you, Alicia, it's hard as a parent to teach that to your kids because it's like, oh, well, maybe you hurt that person's feelings and then they're not going to like you. Or maybe you should do that because that's going to probably. So it's always about like, you want your
Yeah.
kids. So Dia yesterday, another friend told her that the other girl said, I'm kind of mad at Dia because she wasn't nice to this other girl. So
Oh
this
my
girl
God.
chooses to tell, and you know what, Dia? Oh, God, I don't need her to like me. I know that I didn't do anything wrong. My intentions were to make sure that I served this friend that I had told her that I was going to do that. And if that upset her, I don't need her to like me. And there was a part of me that wanted to be like, Badia, like, we need everyone to like us. And I was like, no, I just drove and I thought she's going to figure this out. And if she doesn't like that, that friend doesn't like her, she'll figure that out with herself. But clearly for her, she's like, she knew she had like basically said something to a friend to not please, but to serve another friend. Like basically like, this is a promise that I had made. So no. Right. And that friend was upset, but she's like, but I know why I did this to serve this friend, you know? So I'm like, she was okay with her decision. At the end of the day, I'm like, you don't need people to like you if you're okay with people not liking you. That's really, this is your life. You're building it, you know? And so I didn't say anything, but it was hard. I had like a moment of like wanting everyone to like her. You get what I mean? And
Yeah.
wanting someone to be upset with her. But I
It's
loved
hard.
hearing her say she didn't care. I was like, well, good. She doesn't care. Did she really not care? I'm not sure, but you know what I mean? I
The
don't know.
girl drama. Oh, the girl drama.
Yeah, yeah.
Baby came home. She's like, and then so said about this about so and so on FaceTime. So there's no proof. And then and I was like, do not get involved. She's like, I'm not involved. I'm just listening to both sides. I'm like, sounds like you're involved. She loves it.
Oh my God.
But also saying to her that you don't have to invite everyone, you don't
Yeah,
have to accept everyone's behaviors as well. I was around one of her little friends and her behavior. I was like, what do you think of that behavior?
yeah,
You
yeah.
know, did that feel kind to you? It's hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
This
It's
whole
like don't
raising
get involved,
humans.
but then fight for what you believe. Like it's like, oh, anyways, at the end of the day, listen, we didn't have these conversations with our moms that much. Like I don't remember these conversations. I
Oh,
think we all figured it out and our true values always pop up, you know what I mean? Naturally of like how we were raised with conversations with our parents. I think that that's really what just happens.
at the end of the day, the behavior that our daughters are seeing us model are more impactful than our conversations in the
Yeah.
car, to be honest.
Yeah, yeah, of course. Yeah, exactly. So it's like and we are not perfect, though. It's like we do things as well. It's like, oh, right, like I might have lost patience or whatever, and they're gonna do it as well. It's the not hating yourself about it, kind of being like more patient with yourself and being like and apologizing, showing our kids that we also apologize and we also, like just like those things. That's really important. Like I wasn't right.
What was this podcast about?
Honestly, perspective.
I like that. There was a lot of
Yeah.
perspective.
Perspective, desire, decision making. Yeah. Okay.
What can we take them away with? What homework can we give them, Jose? What actions can we give them?
I want them to know that if they enjoy us and they love listening to our content and they're not taking a part of our membership and getting more of this like depth conversation, it is because of their perspective of our service or their perspective of what we do. You know what I mean? And our role in their lives and the value that we could have in their lives. Because again, knowing that we exist is not enough. How many people know we exist as a company, as a service, and they do not choose to be a part of it? And it's like, but it's because, and I know it's because of their perspective, right? It has nothing to do with, oh, well, I don't have weight to lose. Tons of people are a part of your weight loss and do not have weight to lose. And what does that mean? What does it mean you don't have weight to lose? Like
Perspective.
perspective,
That's
right?
perspective.
So, and it's like, okay, so, but it's also your perspective of like, that's the only thing that we would ever bring to someone's life is weight loss. And so the perspective could be, I don't need your service. The perspective could be, it's too expensive. The perspective could be not the right time. So it's like that's what we're dealing with in regards to even a business is just awareness that you exist. Hey, they have so much choice, information overload yet again of what they could, use their money on, right? And I was talking to Jeff about like price or something for the studio, and I said, Jeff, he said, maybe like something like for like a sale or whatever. I'm like, listen, we're already at $9 a class. And for us to have like more sales, like these people drink all weekend and go out, like it's perspective. I'm sorry. Like it's like, oh, we should have like maybe a student, like a university,
Great.
rate. And I'm like, I'm sorry. It's already $9, $9 a class. I said, our rate is for the single mom. Our rate is for anyone that's like, I want to prioritize this and I'm going to fit it in. Right. And it's like university students go out all the time and like drink, and $9 for a class is not, I said, if it was really expensive.
One double rum and Coke.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like, I really think that even price is perspective. I think literally everything is perspective. Like, look at Usher, literally 2 posts. That was the worst show, best show ever. One after another. Like I took a screenshot and was like, how hilarious is that? So life is perspective, becomes your truth. It becomes like it drives your decisions. Never forget that your perspective drives your decisions, which is your behaviors, which is your life. So
Boom.
boom. Okay, let's leave him with that. Did we give him a homework? Still no homework.
It's fine.
Maybe just like an inventory of your life. Like look into your life. And know that the power behind everything is your perspective.
Yeah, I think just looking at your life from the lens of, oh, my reality is my perspective.
Yeah.
And that when you start to look at it from that way, it just kind of gives room for change.
Of course, if you feel like you want change, if you feel like my life is crumbling down, okay, perspective. Why am I making these decisions that aren't paying off, that aren't, allowing me to thrive? And then you can start from there. And remember, you will not do anything that you do not desire. And desire is from perspective.
I like that one. You will not do anything that you do not desire.
Yeah. It's motivation. Desire is motivation.
Mm.
Right. And so that's why when people are like, you need so much motivation to lose weight, whatever, I'm like, why are you doing so many shit you don't want to do? That's the proof. If you need so much motivation to just show up every day, you're doing so many things you do not desire. And you're calling it discipline. I'm calling it you're crazy. Like your perspective, like, why are you living this way? Like, why are you pushing all the time?
Why are you doing a burpee? Why are you doing a burpee?
Yeah, like who are you trying to impress? Like, and if it was for you, then you desire it. So clearly, like there's some sort of mixed match in the messaging in society and what you should be doing and how it should feel, how life should feel.
This is definitely a conversation for maybe another podcast, but
Okay.
I'd be curious to unpack with you how social media has played a role in our behaviors and actions, because we can show them. And sometimes I think that's motivating for people. They desire for people to see them in a certain way. Like, are you cold plunging because you really love it? Or are you cold plunging because it's good for the internet?
Right. Yep. And at the end of the day, as long as you know why, you do it. Right.
Because, I have friends.
Your desire to please the internet could be so strong. You'll fucking do anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So whatever, but what matters is whatever you do is what you wanted to do. So no
Mm.
more bullshit about like, I really wanted that, but I didn't. No more of that, you guys. If you really want to change your life now, it's time for you to look into what you actually do, what you actually allow in your life. And that is what you wanted to do. That you desired that. You desired to stay on the couch and eat those chips. That's what you wanted because of your perspective of another behavior was not desirable to you. It was not something you wanted. Right. So it's like you desired that. Do you know why? And do you talk shit after? Do you have internal conflict? Like that's where you like start building the life that is operating. Like you're operating in a way that is you. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Okay.
Okay. We're gonna stop, or else we're just gonna keep
Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna
digging.
just going in circles.
Yes.
Okay. Well, have a fantastic day, everyone.
Thanks for listening, guys.
Okay. Bye.